The weather pattern coming is strengthening even bigger and stronger impacts, everybody, including the severe weather. They did extend that towards Tuesday, maybe even that Wednesday, like I showed you yesterday. But this heat dome that is building, this big heat wave that is coming further towards the north. Bigger numbers going further across the U.S., the central and the eastern and the northern, all the way into Canada still. Plus, with this high pressure, this big dome of heat that's going to be sitting here, trying to produce a non-tropical system right off the southeast. That would be front induced. Now, it's trying to become tropical and swing towards Florida, maybe get into the Gulf again. I'm showing that is a very low chance, if at all. But good news is it will bring precipitation across Florida and help with this big drought y'all in, worst in over 30 years. So that would be a good plus. So I have a few things to show you. I will be as quick as possible. So sit back and relax and let me show you what's happening with the weather. In fact, we're going to start here on our potential velocity anomaly where it shows this favorable environment coming into our atmosphere. Still showing as we go to the beginning of July, we have favorable environment that's going to come right into our region, everybody. And you can see it right in the middle of July, still showing this favorable big pocket of energy is going to transition across into the Gulf, the Caribbean, maybe even the MDR, our main development region. So remember my forecast, always show the middle of July was going to be very intense. And it looks like it could start at the very beginning of July, a very low chance, but it's going to intensify later on. Plus our weather pattern, we're still going into that negative PNA all the way towards the 5th, still dragging all the way towards the 7th or the 8th of July. This is what's bringing this big heat dome, this big heat wave that's coming. So make sure you subscribe, follow along for updates because you will hear the next weather pattern from here first. In fact, this heat dome is getting stronger, bigger numbers, everybody. So look at the latest information from National Weather Service. As we go through for Friday, a wide area across the south and the southeast is going to be in that moderate impacts for extreme heat. And this is going to grow significantly. As we go through Saturday, you can see this going further towards the north, but it really kicks in from Sunday all the way towards next Thursday and Friday, everybody. So as we go through for Sunday, now we're getting the major impacts in the red growing. As we go through Monday and Tuesday, we're going to start getting the extreme impacts growing. This is going to be a lot of heat that's going to build day after day. This is going to be a long duration heat wave. As we go through Wednesday, it gets even worse. Now more areas, more states are in them extreme impacts. And when you're in the extreme impacts like this, you have no cooling overnight. Your overnight lows are going to be in the 70s and 80s overnight for your best temperatures. Now this is only till Wednesday and this is going even further, everybody. In fact, the risk has gone up even more. So picking up where we left off just now, all the way from the 2nd to the 8th. So not only all the way towards Wednesday, all the way potentially towards the 8th of July, everybody. Not only the slight risk, also this big moderate level risk. Look at these big areas of a high risk for hazardous temperatures. This is going to bring extreme heat of anywhere from 105 to 110 degree heat indices plus, especially over here towards the East Coast. And you can see this here on the latest information. So as we go through from Monday to Tuesday, that big ridge is still building from that negative PNA that I showed you in the data. And this is going to be strong, everybody. Look how it hangs out all week long with all of that heat, and it expands by the time we go through next Saturday and next weekend across the central U.S. Then we have the new data. Remember, the next data spike, like I showed you, shows this going further towards the west, but this is going to build all the way towards the 8th. Now, this is a high pressure. This is a big heat dome, but this is also bringing that chance for something to swing around from the mid-Atlantic to southeast, possibly going into the Gulf, still showing it's a very low chance, if at all. But we still need to watch it because you remember the way I roll. We do not turn our backs to the tropics, especially into the Gulf. We could be up towards a 30, maybe even a 40% chance of a tropical depression. But with this big high pressure swinging around, it's going to put a lot of shear on this, everybody. And look how quickly it drops to nothing because of all the shear coming around. I'm showing this more likely, if anything, we'll get a quick low right off the coast, just bringing extra rainfall towards the southeast, but it could be very beneficial towards Florida. And you can see this here. This is what you're looking at. So this is with the Euro, way more accurate weather model. As we're getting that deep trough all the way towards Monday, bringing those storms with it. Remember my forecast. Here's your big high ridge of heat still sitting around, but bringing a piece of that storm all the way across from the Ohio Valley, Tennessee, Kentucky Valley, and swinging that around. Now look how the shear just dissipates all of that system as that comes around, showing it will more likely just bring rainfall. Now, if you go towards 10 days or more, maybe it'll show that this could come back into the Gulf and do something. There's a lot of people that live 10 days out. In fact, this is the only weather model that's showing anything, and you guessed it, is the GFS, showing it could get something front induced right off the southeast. This would not be tropical. This would have a broad area of thunderstorms, not around the center. When it's tropical, all the winds are around the center. Then it shows it tries to form something right over here across the Gulf, across Florida, but the whole time it would get sheared. Still, while it's getting sheared, GFS takes it to where something forms up into the northern Gulf. Please be aware of this. Of course, I'm keeping my eyes on it, but this is not looking like anything is coming out of that, everybody. Maybe a quick formation right off the Carolinas, bring in rainfall. It might add up to some winds, maybe. That is about it. And you can see this with the GFS. So you get all that low pressure building from that front, and then you see it drags it across, maybe builds something into the Atlantic. Now, right now, we're going towards 8 to 9 days, showing it could bring something back towards the northeast. This is only by the GFS so far. And then we get a upper level low into the Gulf somewheres around 10 days. So I will keep you updated. So far, everything is still far as past 8 days before any possible formation. So a couple things to look at. So this is with Google Mines, and Google Mines shows that you could get that low pressure forming right off the southeast, and it could go tropical and then go right across Florida in the southeast. Maybe for a quick minute, get yourself something forming up, showing it could be a tropical storm that could form up real quick, even showing a possible hurricane. This one's showing it could go all the way towards Louisiana, then get pushed back out and strengthen on the way back out. So there's many possibilities following with this. So look at the Euro ensembles. The Euro is a very accurate weather model, everybody. It shows you could get that low forming right off the southeast, but then shows it would greatly be sheared and reduced to nothing afterwards. Still, I will watch it. You never turn your back to the tropics, especially into the Gulf, because a lot of people root for these things. I don't root for these things. I root for the precipitation it's going to bring you, but I do not root for these things. Look at this. So here we are, everybody. This is our high pressure right here, a big high ridge of heat. And it goes this way. It goes clockwise. So remember that. So if something tries forming up over here, it would get sheared on the way across and just bring precipitation more than likely. Showing after this weekend, it could swing all that around right over Florida, Georgia, and the southeast, bringing you the rainfall. Now, this is badly needed, so please do not believe you have a hurricane coming your way. If this was to upgrade to where it was a possibility in the near future from this afternoon on, I will do another update just so you know everything going on. Now, before we get to these crazy high temperatures, which has shifted further north and stronger, let's go through the severe weather real quick. It will be quick, everybody. You can see for yesterday, we had 2 tornado reports. We had one in Colorado, and we had one for those storms I showed you in northern Illinois. Now, for today, you have chances for a tornado. You still have the chances for the strong tornadoes over here for northern Oklahoma, southern Kansas, and you have a chance for a quick spin up over here towards the interior northeast first. So here's your cities and states at risk for a possible tornado for today. This is going to bring wind and hail with it, everybody. The hail is going to be on the lower end, but chances for strong winds, especially in this 30%. So here's your cities and states at risk for the high wind threat for today, and the hail threat as well. In the same locations everywhere else, it is really going to be minor, everybody. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for today. And you can see the latest update as we go through the early afternoon. We're going to get some storms coming across for Kansas, Central, and Eastern. Then we're going to get a banding forming up over here from Ohio towards Pennsylvania, even some of New York, as you go through 4 through 6 o'clock, where you could get a quick spin up. Not showing a great chance. That's why you only have a 2%, and it could bring some winds with that. But as this moves across later this evening across Kansas into Missouri, bring in winds with those as well. And this is where your strong tornado chance does grow as you go through the evening across Kansas into northern Oklahoma. Then it turns into just a cluster of thunderstorms overnight, just bringing maybe some small winds with it, but just bringing regular thunderstorms with that, everybody. Then for tomorrow, the same cluster is going to go across the Tennessee, Kentucky Valley, and this is going to bring you a small threat for a tornado for tomorrow as well. While you get these storms building all the way from the north central through the central high plains, bring a threat for hail and maybe some winds with that as well. Remember, this is going to grow across north central, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes for next week, and is bringing it mostly over here on the western U.S. This is where we're going to be for about a week with this weather pattern. So Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, even Nevada, Southern California, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and the western side of the Dakotas and Nebraska. This is where you have chances for 50, even up to 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Please pay attention to this. And you see it goes all the way into Texas with chances for 70 in that brown for Colorado and New Mexico. So the winds are strengthening up. Now this is still going to continue for tomorrow, even that small chance for tornadoes for Tennessee, Kentucky Valley. This is going to bring a small threat for severe weather. Then as we go through for Saturday is going to be there. This is where it's going to build along that ridging and that trough across the north. So as we go through for Sunday, also Monday, and Tuesday. Tuesday is going to build across Wisconsin, Michigan, going across the Great Lakes. So don't forget that. So we have more severe weather outlooks. I'm only going to take it a day or two at a time because this is moving around so much. So for tomorrow, for your severe weather, you can see what your chances for tornadoes. You do have that 2% over here for Illinois, Indiana, going through Kentucky. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for that for tomorrow. And it's going to be a wind threat and a hail threat for tomorrow. Both of them are on the very low end, everybody. So here's your cities and states at risk for the wind threat for tomorrow. And here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for tomorrow, for Friday. And I'm still showing as we go through for Saturday. You can see what National Weather Service, look at Colorado State University, showing that system might form up right off the coast and bring stronger impacts before it gets hit with the shear. Could be upgraded as well. Then as we go through for Sunday, you can see it over here for the north central. Look right here with Colorado State University. And still showing for Monday. You can see with National Weather Service, they got these outlooks now. Colorado State University been showing this. A bigger area as we go through for Monday and for Tuesday across the Great Lakes, maybe even Wednesday and Thursday, everybody. We're going to be in this weather pattern for about a week. Remember that. Now, these temperatures have gotten worse. They've gotten stronger and further towards the north. So I'm going to go through the temperatures so you know what to expect. I'm going to show you the difference between the Euro and the GFS so you know everything. So as we go through this weekend for Sunday, now we have the 90 over 100 degrees, over 105 degree. These are temperatures, everybody. Now, when you look with this compared to the GFS, it's bringing it way further towards the north, where South Dakota could actually be in 104, 105 degree temperatures. This is not your heat indices. Plus the 90s going all the way across the southwest and the southeast. Now your heat indices with that temperatures, look with the Euro. You're going to feel like 100 to 105 degrees further north across the southeast. And when you go by GFS, it takes it even further into the Dakotas, everybody. Monday, look how much this has changed since yesterday. Now we have 100 to over 100 degree temperatures going into Minnesota, going into the Dakotas, not to mention everyone else in the U.S. When you compare this to GFS, it's seeing the same thing, but even stronger. Still showing 105 degree temperatures going to the Dakotas, all the way towards Minnesota with high 90s, maybe even hitting 100, all the way into Canada with maybe 90s to 100 degree temperatures, everybody. Now your heat index value for Monday, look at this. This is with the Euro, showing this going all the way towards Minnesota, where you might get towards 110 degree heat indices. This is your feels like temperatures going all the way from the south all the way towards the north, not to mention across the southeast. Look with GFS going even further. This is going further and further north the longer that system sits there and spins, everybody. Tuesday, still there. All these 90s going way further north, over 100-degree temperatures. You can see with GFS as well. It's in a great agreement with that. Even 100-degree temperatures going further into Ontario. And when you heat indices, look at this. This is for Tuesday. This is going to get really strong, everybody. This is a Euro. This is a GFS. At least they're in a great agreement on that. You could feel like 110-degree heat indices all the way towards the Midwest and the Great Lakes. But we're only halfway through it. Here's Wednesday by July 1st. Getting all these 90s spread across the U.S., all into Canada with the high 80s as well. You can see with GFS bringing even stronger temperatures, over 100-degree temperatures, still showing 105 for South Dakota. Then your heat index value is bringing all these 100, 105-degree heat indices all across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley. You can see this with the GFS as well, agreeing on that intensity. Now, Thursday through the weekend, it really gets concerning across the Southeast. It all depends how much this forms across the Carolinas as this is changing in our weather pattern. So now your temperatures, look at this. This is temperatures. You could feel anywhere from 100 to 105 degrees plus across the Carolinas and Virginia, growing it even further towards Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. This is very concerning. Showing it could go even higher, even 108-degree heat indices, everybody. Now that's with the Euro. Look with the GFS. It's taking it further towards Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes and transitioning across the Northeast with the feels like of 100 to 105 to 110-degree heat indices. So this weather pattern in general just got a lot worse. The longer that system sits there and the longer that high pressure sits there, the stronger these temperatures are going to get and the further north they're going to get. And to actually have 100 to 105-degree temperatures, that is straight up dangerous, everybody. So please prepare for these temperatures in the least of anything I showed you in this video, not even the severe weather, not even possible tropics. These temperatures are a silent killer. Please hydrate. Please check on the pets. Please check on the elderly. I will keep you updated on anything coming into the tropics. If it starts growing, I will do an afternoon update. You know I will. I might see you this afternoon just in case, just so you have the more accurate information and not all the hype that I see out there. And another thing you got to think about, those temperatures, not the heat indices, those temperatures are taken in the shade, everybody. So that's the best it's going to get for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you most of all for your support. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And before I go, a quick word from our Father. Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yes, I will help thee. Yes, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Amen. Thank you for your help, everybody. I appreciate every single one of y'all. If you do need prayers, make sure you put it in the comments below, and I will gladly pray for you. Remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope He keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. You might see me this afternoon.